Welcome to In My Hungry Years, where I'm going to show you what I eat in a week. Hey, I'm Jen, and I have been vegan now for a long time now, and I thought today I would do this week I would do a what I eat in a week vegan style. Honestly, I'm super lazy. I just kind of make things that are super quick and easy and tasty. I probably should be eating a little bit healthier, but this is my go-to stuff that I would typically eat in a week, although I'm trying to make my best stuff for you guys, so it might not be a typical week. I don't normally eat all this fancy stuff every single week, but I thought I would give you some ideas if you're vegan or if you're not on what to eat, and yeah, hopefully that's helpful. But before getting into the delicious food, honestly, I saved kind of the best till last. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's @InTheWonderYears. But yeah, let's get into the vegan eats. Okay, so I tried to start off my week with something super easy, simple, and healthy, which is a smoothie. Now let's just low-key ignore my fingernails in this video because I never took my nail polish off, but I just added some bananas, raspberries, and some soy milk into this cup, and then all you do is just blend it all up and you have a delicious smoothie that doesn't cost you like $8 because stores just like make them so expensive and I hate it. So this one costs like nothing and it was delicious. For lunch, I channeled my inner uni student and made mi-goreng noodles, except I tried to spice it up a little bit and I added some mushrooms, some corn, and some spinach just to kind of give it some dimension. So first up, you want to cook the mushrooms. They take quite a while to brown up and I like them crispy, so I put them in a pan first, then I added the mi-goreng noodles with some boiling water just to cook them up, and I let them sit for 5 minutes or something. Then I added the seasoning that comes in the packet and you just kind of mix it up. I put it on a plate on top of the bowl just so it heats up a little bit and it mixes a lot easier. Pro tip. And then once the mushrooms were getting a bit closer to being done, I added some frozen vegetables just because they don't take as long as the mushrooms, although the spinach, I gotta say, did take a while, so I would say put that in first because I'm a dumb shit, but really, that didn't take too long. Then you just mix in the sauce into the noodles, not too hard to do, guys, and add in your vegetables. So that is pretty much the whole look, the whole food look, I guess. Then to top it off, I just added some sauerkraut. It's a spicy sauerkraut, so I assume it just tastes like kimchi for me, so it kind of went with the dish, kind of not, but it tasted delicious. This is a good one when you have like zero time to make anything and you want something delicious. I literally only had 15 minutes before I had to go to work, and yeah, I managed to eat it and be ready. For dinner, I decided to go with a staple, which is burgers with some homemade sweet potato chips. So first up, you just grab your sweet potatoes and you cut them. I find that cutting these long ones into little circles works best for me because I suck at cutting and I'd probably cut myself. So I just cut them into little circles and then I put them in a bowl and add some olive oil on top, then some smoky paprika, a little bit of Moroccan seasoning, some chili flakes, and I just stir it all in together. Really, you can put any kind of seasoning on them, and I just kind of make it up every single time, something different, and it always tastes so good because sweet potato chips are the bomb. Then I just lay them down on a tray evenly enough, I guess. Oh shit. I literally was trying not to move that board, but it moved. Then for the burger, I had some vegan cheese, which I got from Aldi. I also got this vegan aioli, which is super delicious from Coles. It's a staple. And again, the spicy sauerkraut, which is, yeah, low-key kimchi. And of course, it can't be a burger without a patty. And these ones I got from Woolworths. I like these vegan patties and they are super delicious. And obviously, you want to go ahead and fry them up or else it would kind of taste disgusting. Once I cooked, I like to add the cheese on top just to melt it a little bit in the pan. And then I also add in some pineapple into the pan because your girl loves pineapple, okay? I will add it to anything I possibly can. While that's cooking, I like to build my buns. On the bottom, I just put a little bit of Nuttelex. I add my aioli right to the bottom. I love this stuff so much. Thank you, Coles, but also the bottle is too small for me. I then add some sticky sweet stubs, which is a staple in our household. We love the stubs. So then I like to add the salad. I just add some lettuce, some kraut, and some tomatoes. And then I just plop my little patty on there with the cheese and the pineapple. Looks so good. Oh, and don't forget the sweet potato chips for the side, which I like to add with, again, some more aioli. This one is honestly so delicious and so easy to make, so yeah, even if you have friends that are not plant-based or vegan, I'm sure they would 100% love this meal. So on Tuesday, I actually made a proper breakfast. This is one that's been my staple for a long time now, which is oats with peanut butter, brown sugar, banana, and yeah, that's basically it. Now, I highly recommend that you make this in a pot because it tastes so much creamier and better. So you just add 1 cup of oats in there and 2 cups of water. Then you go and pop that on the stovetop and cook it for a little while. While it's cooking for a sec, you want to chop up the banana. I could chop it up into little tiny pieces. And then once it's a little bit mushy on the inside but still kind of watery, I add the bananas in so it can soak a little bit and it can get nice and soft. I also like to add a huge dollop of peanut butter for that protein, and also some brown sugar, which is probably not that great for you, but it tastes delicious and it makes it smell so yum. Then I just stir it all up and put it back on the stovetop. You just keep cooking it to your desired thickness. I like it kind of mushy like this, and then I add a little bit of oat milk on top in my bowl to make it nice and creamy, and it's super delicious. I can also add a little bit of muesli granola stuff, and it tastes super nice and crunchy on top, almost like a dessert. So it is a bit of a sweet breakfast, but you know, you can kind of tone it down a bit if you need to and not have as much sugar. This one's so nice on a cold winter's day like we have here in Australia right now. Then for lunch, I just went out for some rice paper rolls or fresh rolls, whatever you call them, and some sushi, and it was delicious. I just freaking love rice paper rolls. I just wish I could find a better place because that one wasn't that great. Now this dinner is my favorite thing to make right now, which is vegan chicken gnocchi. I grabbed this roast chicken from Plantasia, which is super delicious. I love their products. I got some gnocchi, is that how you say it? Mushrooms, tomatoes, and of course some basil. So first thing I like to do is chop up that chicken. I'm doing little quotation marks, chicken. It honestly smells exactly like chicken too, so it really confuses me. But if you like faux meats, this is pretty good. I add that to the pan, then I cut up some mushrooms, like so many mushrooms, a whole packet of mushrooms. You want it to be mushroom fueled. So yeah, you want to cut those up and put them to the side. Then I prepare the tomato. Honestly, you don't want to put the tomato in too early because you'll lose it. It'll just get lost in the whole dish, so make sure you put it in just at the end. Once your chicken looks pretty cooked and crispy, I like to take that out and then cook the mushrooms for a little while because they take quite a long time, and I didn't really want to mix the two just yet. So I put the mushrooms into the pan with some oil, quite a lot of oil actually, because they soak it all up. And once they're cooked, I then add the tomatoes because they don't need that long at all. Then I add the basil. I basically add the whole tub of basil because I just love that stuff. Also, don't forget to add the chicken, and then you mix it all up together for a scrumptious smelling dinner. Put that back on the stovetop for a little bit and you can cook your gnocchi. Now it only takes a couple of minutes to cook gnocchi, which is amazing for a quick meal. Then I like to add some pine nuts to the rest of the dish, and basically that is all good to go. So I like to serve it up with the gnocchi at the bottom, and then I put all the rest of the stuff on top. I pile it up like a mountain because I am just a little piglet and I like to eat a lot of food, and I just can't stop myself when it comes to gnocchi. So I have a huge plate of this stuff and I have to lie down afterwards. So I recommend wearing some comfy clothes like trackies to eat this dinner because you will need to lie down afterwards. Now you've probably already heard me say this, but honestly this is 100% my all-time favorite dish ever, which is avocado toast. I could eat it every time of day, whenever. It is the best thing ever, but Honestly, I need to avoid bread a little bit more, even though there's so many bread dishes in this video. So I like to add some noodle eggs. Then you just go ahead and you open up that avocado once it's ripe. Don't do it before it's ripe, or else you will be devastated. So I just like to smush it into the toast. Then I slice up some tomato and I just pop that on the bread, normally about 2 pieces. I add a little bit of pepper. I'm only just coming on to pepper. A good option is to add chili flakes, but for this one I'm adding this balsamic vinegar syrup glaze thing, and it's totally delicious. It tastes like it's made at a restaurant. Restaurant quality and total happiness from your home, guys. Now ignore the bangs, but this is me and pure happiness. It's the best. Next up is sweet and sour pork, which is super delicious. Again, it's this Plantasia pork stuff, which is top of the list, guys. We got some capsicum or red pepper, some rice noodles, some sweet chili sauce, and some canned pineapples. First thing I like to do is chop up everything. So I chop up the capsicum, red pepper. Let me know in the comments what you call it. And then I like to cut up the pork into little strips. Also cut up the pineapple. And then add it to your pan so it can crisp up and look kind of like this. Then you want to go ahead and put your rice noodles into a little bowl thing and put some boiling water on there and let them sit for a couple of minutes till they're cooked. Once everything's in the pan super crispy, I like to add the sauce, which is a ton of sweet chili sauce. And also we added the extra pineapple juice from the pineapples to add a little sweet flavor to it and make it super juicy. And I forgot to show it, but I put the noodles into the whole mix and it just made everything super flavorful. And then I just plate it up and eat it, and it's delicious. Feel free to top it off with some sesame seeds or chili flakes or basil or coriander or anything your heart desires. Now I'm all for simple breakfast, so this time I kind of burnt my toast, but I made some jam toast. Delicious. I also had work that day, so I just kind of grabbed some sushi while I was out, and yeah, nothing to explain here. Now I had soccer training this night, so I decided to let Lisa, my mother, take the reins on this one, and she made some amazing broccoli and cauliflower bake. Kind of cheesy tasting, but not actually cheese. So here's her making this one. We got some white sauce, which is just some butter, flour, and milk. We don't really have any measurements for you guys because we kind of just do trial and error, but what you do is you just put those into a bowl, put it in the microwave for a little bit, take it out, turn it around, put it back in, turn it around until it's ready. Then we add some nutritional yeast and it tastes sufficiently cheesy, like some cheese sauce. Then we make some breadcrumbs for the top of the bake, so you just get some old bread and you blend it up and you got some breadcrumbs, guys. Now sorry if this is in a weird order, but Lisa didn't really know how to film this, but here we got some vegetables and you just pour the cheese sauce on top and then you put the crumbs on top and you put it in the oven. Then once it's sufficiently crispy, you take it out and you eat that shit because it's delicious. Now that wasn't the whole meal. I decided to also add a vegan pie with some mushroom sauce, which I'll put in another video if you want to learn how to make that, but it's basically like the white sauce, but you add mushrooms and you just do it on the stovetop. So I put that on the top of my pie and it was friggin' delicious. Now after that pie, I tried to be healthy again and I made some fruit for breakfast. So I just added some bananas, strawberries, and mandarin into a bowl, and I put some icing sugar on top, which is not that healthy, but it makes it taste super delicious. And yeah, that was just like a little snack I had for breakfast. For lunch, I made a toasted sandwich, which was just little bits and shards of cheese that I tried to Jenga onto this bit of bread, some pineapple and tomato. Nothing too fancy, I just put it in a sandwich press and it was delicious. So yeah. So recently I found these Japanese curries at Woolworths and I've been living for them, so I decided to make it in the video today. So we got this curry sauce, the chicken things, and also broccoli, and it's a pretty basic meal. So I like to add some rice onto my plate, then I add the chicken schnitzel thing, some beans, which I didn't add before, sorry, broccoli, and also I add the sauce on top. And it tastes so delicious. It tastes like what you get at a restaurant, and I'm so satisfied with this. And sorry I made this so half-assed, but I had soccer training this day and I just could not film it properly. But here we go. This is the curry. On Saturday, I then again made another smoothie because I live for those things. I made some toast with peanut butter and then just added bananas to the top. It was a very sweet treat for breakfast, but I lived for it. And luckily I didn't burn the toast this time. Now this is probably the greatest and craziest thing you'll see in this video, which is jackfruit nachos. Now you want to get jackfruit in brine, and then you open it up and you squish it up into a plate. Honestly, it sounds like this might be too crazy for some people, but if I can do it, you can really do it because I have no idea what I'm doing. So yes, you just squish all the jackfruit in a bowl. Once that was finally done, I decided to grab a margarita and then I added some mushrooms into this one. So I cut them all up, added them to the bowl, and then also cut up some capsicum because we had to use this one up and it was looking kind of gross. So I put that in the bowl too. Now the flavor of choice for these nachos was barbecue nachos, so I added the sticky sweet stubs. You want to add a lot of this stuff because it will taste so good. I then also added the original stubs because we happen to have every flavor here. And also some sweet soy. I mean, look how saucy and delicious that looks. Normally I just make this for other jackfruit stuff. I haven't actually made these nachos before, but yes. Once that was done, my boyfriend prepared some beans, so if it looks like a manly hand, that is why. He added some chipotle to the black beans and then mixed them up. Honestly, we probably didn't need these for the nachos, but he was just excited. Then you want to go ahead and make some white sauce, just kind of like what my mom made the other day, which is just some Nuttelex or vegan butter or something. Then you melt that up, add some flour, and add some milk. Again, like I said, we don't use recipes here, so it's just random. Then you put it in the microwave for a little bit till it heats up. Kind of mix it up a little bit more until you get the desired consistency. And then I like to add some, some nutritional yeast as you do as a vegan. Then I prep some tomatoes. We love tomatoes in this house, especially the ones that are the vine tomatoes. So I cut those up and then I decided to make some guacamole. So I got this avocado and I squished it all up and added some tomato in there. Usually I put some other flavors, but my boyfriend doesn't like it when I do that. But if you were to add flavors, I would add a tiny bit of mayo and a little bit of sweet chili, and that'll make it a little bit more sweet. Oh, and don't forget a little bit of salt and pepper. Then you can start building the nachos. Basically you just gotta add nachos to your bowl. Add some cooked jackfruit. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, you have to cook the jackfruit for a while. Make sure it goes all sticky and sweet. Then you put that on top of the chips. Add your tomato on top, and then your white sauce pours on top, nice and creamy. Now honestly, that is where I should have stopped. It is massive nachos, but here we go, we're adding more to it. We've got some vegan cheese, which I grated on top, and then you just put it in the oven for a while until it looks nice and crispy and not burnt. Once that's done, we pull it out and we put some beans on top, but honestly, you probably could have just stopped where it was. We made it way too massive for 2 people. Yes, this was only for 2 people. Then we added the guacamole, some coriander, and margaritas, which are optional, depending on how old you are. Honestly, this was so delicious. It took us ages to get through it. We even ate some more the next day, and yeah, so good. But also after I finished filming, we added more stuff. On my side, I got some vegan mayo, and Nick has some lettuce, so we couldn't stop there. Alright, last day of my what I eat. We have a big breakfast for Sunday. I added some baked beans, some Turkish bread, some hash browns, a little bit of mushrooms, and yeah. So basically fry up that hash brown. You can get your mushrooms, add some basil, pesto stuff, some garlic, and some oil into a little pot, mix it up, and put it on top of those mushrooms to make them taste super, super delicious. Then you want to go ahead and toast your toast, but don't burn it. Always keep an eye on your toast because I always end up burning it. Then cook up your baked beans. They really don't take that long, and honestly, I'm such a mess. Did you just see that? Cooking is a messy sport. So like I said, you just have to cook up the mushrooms. They do take a while, so I would give it time. Put your sauce on top. Then once your toast is ready, just add some Nuttelex to that, and you can just plate on up. And just to make it fancy for you guys, I added some basil on top and some nutritional yeast on top of my baked beans just to look like I'm a fancy person, but really, this is the simplest, cheapest meal I could make for breakfast. And last but not least, we have a very simple meal for dinner, which is fish and chips, which I didn't film, but we got some little vegan fish things and some little tots or potato gems, whatever you call them, some salad, and a little bit of aioli, because it wouldn't be a meal without aioli. Woo! So that is what I eat in a week. Kind of filmed it over 2 weeks because I do have soccer training. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you like to make for dinner or anything. And I have been Jen. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And until next time, keep wondering.